you doing this morning? Today happens to be the 4th day of October 2018. Not a bad looking morning. I took a look outside there on the balcony just before coming into the studio here. Looks like we're in for another great day in the Spice Isle. And of course, nice to have you aboard with us. We certainly hope that you're going to take some time to like the program, let your friends know about it. We're doing pretty well. I'm seeing more and more people with each passing day, despite all the hiccups we had when we tried to get off the ground a few weeks ago. Oh yeah, I'll tell you, faith does pay off. Faith in God, that is. I have lived through a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. This morning, we're going to be taking another look at the Caribbean Court of Justice and the efforts being made to see to it that Grenada accedes to the appellate jurisdiction of the court. And we've been bringing you both sides of the coin. You know, you've got the proponents out there who are making an awful lot of noise, trying to get you to vote yes in the November 6th referendum. And of course, there are also people who just don't want the court. Don't ask them why. They're not sure why they don't want the court. But they just don't want it. All right? They just don't want the accession to the appellate jurisdiction. Then I think based on what I am sensing out there on the street, the majority of the people that I have been bumping into, they want the CCJ. However, they do have concerns which, in their opinion, are legitimate concerns, and feel that until such time as those concerns are addressed, they cannot say yes. That makes sense. Makes sense to me. I don't have any difficulty with that. Well, this morning you're going to be hearing the words not from him, but through an opinion piece which he sent to me. Somebody else who has now jumped aboard the vote yes bandwagon. His name is William Joseph, and he sent me a piece this past week captured Speaking Up. That's the title of his column. And the caption of the story is The CCJ, a pure court for a pure Grenada. How do you like that? Certain voices and pens have occupied a marketplace of ordinary citizens willing and anxious to learn about the possible role of the CCJ in Grenada's justice. Sadly, much of what has been said and written are in opposition to Grenada acceding to the appellate jurisdiction of the CCJ. Those arguments, classified below, will be found to be seriously flawed and plainly unconvincing when taken to their logical conclusion. The situation approaches a shutdown of reason. Let us begin with the right to justice. At its source, justice is a constitutional, political, cultural, and social right to be enjoyed by the citizens of Grenada. It is not the footstool of lawyers or politicians or any other, though they are entitled to have and to express a strong interest. Importantly, a duty has been imposed on the Parliament to pass laws for the peace, order, and good government of Grenada. Then, the courts are established as the institution to supervise and administer the promised justice. In the same way that the Constitution provides for a government without guaranteeing perfection by cabinet members, so too it provides for the courts without a hint at perfection as a standard on the part of lawyers and judges. For as long as Grenada has had the Privy Council as its highest court, there has been virtually no ongoing administrative connection between the Privy Council and the local courts. Reasonably, local problems will exist as long as the Privy Council is in place. So, the existence of such problems is court neutral, CCJ or PC. Might there not be problems within the lower courts in the UK itself? Have UK citizens called for shutting down the House of Lords or the UK Supreme Court unless the problems below are fixed? The observations above are largely associated with what may be called the internal domestic problems argument, which some citizens rely on in opposing the CCJ for Grenada. At its core, that contention reflects a shocking unconcern for the prospect of prolonged delay or even denial of justice. It cannot be fair for the citizen to suffer frustration until a sufficiency of noises, representations, negotiations, and resources would have been directed at fixing the problems in and surrounding the lower courts. This raises the question as to what value is to be preferred: a perfected court system at some unknown future date, or easier and less costly access to justice now. Those who pose preconditions or link accession to the CCJ to fixing problems in the local courts, or to electoral reform, or to morality in government, appear to be saying, I will give you CCJ if you give me something of value to me. The problem is that you is Keith Mitchell. So now, Mitchell is either a pillar of salt in the way of justice for Grenadians, or citizens will only get justice if Mitchell is willing to negotiate or trade off. Either way, Mitchell is being made the beneficial owner and provider of Grenadian justice. Really? There goes my fit again. Secondly, there is the trust and confidence argument. This one is easily and gently put down by the evidence that none of the countries that have acceded to the CCJ's appellate jurisdiction have experienced incompetence, interference, bias, or favoritism to any blatant extent, or at all. Were there not prime ministers of Barbados and Belize when the CCJ ruled against their governments in given cases? Ultimately, have those countries been rendered judicially or otherwise unstable because of judgments of the CCJ? Not one bit. Since when has knowledge of a man or familiarity with his sister assured him of healing of his cancer by the doctors? The argument invites the Grenadian to run for cover because of fear and speculation, both of which are unfounded. Recall that the father of the nation, Sir Eric Gairy, overcame such fear back in 1974 And today, we are proud and independent. The noise then was independence, yes, but not under Gary. Where the Grenadian man shows that he is afraid of himself, of his neighbor, there can be no Grenadian society. If we are not a society, then we should have no need for the courts. So, it is irresponsible to equip our people with fear. Undeniably, the CCJ has established a very pleasing and confident reputation. It has administered impartial justice. Curiously, no fingers are being pointed at the OECS Court of Appeal, which may well be more politically exposed than is the CCJ. Thirdly, there is the colonial nationhood argument. Can it be said that the Privy Council has contributed to perfecting our independence? Has not the Privy Council been available to those with money reach, but unreachable by those lacking in dollars and cents? It is trite to observe that costs attach to the operations of courts everywhere. Why is a British court to be preferred over a national court? Are we to realize the fullness of nationhood only after the British shut the colonial court in our faces? To insist that Britain must continue to be the ultimate provider of justice for Grenada is to say that the Grenadian is yet incapable of providing justice for himself, whether or not in collaboration with other Caribbean countries. It is not the case that other new nations have established final appellate courts of their own making and likeness as bastions of nationhood. They certainly have, and such courts have not been so irresponsible and corrupt as to cause dysfunctional or rogue societies. Neither have they been purveyors of injustice. We must now do likewise, or keep searching for our cultural identity in London as landed immigrants. If Pure Grenada is a marketing gimmick, then demanding a pure court for Pure Grenada is gimmickry in its purest form. Say yes to the CCJ. We are well able. My dear friends, that opinion piece was penned by none other than Mr. William Joseph. Stay tuned. You're going to be hearing a lot more comments for and against and on condition of the CCJ as time goes on. Right now, let's take our first little break, and then we'll come on back with the National Report.
Grenada Market has now introduced the Prime products to online shoppers in the UK via amazon.co.uk. Zebrapick, Nutmeg, Wabande and Mobiback are now available, with more products being added gradually. These products are shipped across the UK and Europe free of charge for Amazon Prime members and backed by Amazon's reputable customer service. Avoid international shipping. Buy in your local area. Amazon.com in the USA, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazon.co.uk in UK and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
It's good to be early. It's good to be early. Pay your GrenadaBroadcast bill on time.
So babe, Alberto and Beryl come and gone, right? So that means we still have Chris, Debbie, Florence, Michael, Patty, Sarah.
From the looks of it, Tony and Valerie might be coming as well. So we need to pick up some extra hurricane supplies.
You don't know how many hurricanes will be coming this season, so you need to be prepared. At Hubbard's Hardware and Building Supply departments and Food Fair supermarkets, everything from canned foods, flashlights and batteries, to plywood, tarpaulin, lanterns, roof repair kits, water tanks, etc. are available. For over 90 years, we've helped you prepare for and recover from storms. Hubbard's is an integral part of your hurricane preparedness plan. Get discounts when using credit and debit cards.
Hey, good morning to you, Chester, and also Nesta. Hey, those two rhyme, eh? Certainly hope you guys are having a great day out there in Switzerland. Thanks for joining us. Now, I'll tell you what, we'll go right into today's edition of the National Report.
Hospital administrators working to ensure minimum disruption at the General Hospital. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, October 3rd, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Some services at the General Hospital are being disrupted by the current sick-out by doctors, but hospital administrators are working to ensure that the level of disruption is minimized. On Wednesday, only 5 of 31 house officers reported for duty at the General Hospital. The sick-out is expected to continue on Thursday. Director of Medical Services at the General Hospital, Dr. Kester Dragon, has given the assurance, however, that surgeries are not being curtailed. Dr. Dragon also confirmed that the Accident and Emergency Department has not been affected because of their shift system. Operations have remained as normal at the Princess Alice and Princess Royal hospitals. The doctors on sick out have promised to report to work in emergency cases.
The doctors who called in sick, they have pledged, they have promised to come out in emergency situations, so they would be doing calls. They'll be on call. In terms of the clinics, we have reduced the clinics. In fact, today there was one clinic which is usually big. It was reduced. The surgeries will continue because, as you would know, the consultants and the specialists are the ones who perform the surgeries, and the post officers do, support and assist in the operating theater. So the surgeries would not be curtailed. The ward work will be mostly affected.
The action by the doctors began with what they called a stress break in response to a statement made by Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell during a recent town hall meeting in New York. Dr. Mitchell issued a statement on Monday saying his comments about the inappropriate use of government resources for personal benefit were not meant to imply that all public officers are guilty of this. However, he said it was important to face the ugly truth that this has been happening and continues to happen across the public service, not only at the General Hospital, which was specifically referenced in response to a question on health. Dr. Dragon says in the meantime, contingency measures are in place to ensure minor disruption.
In emergency situations, there's a triage system where the persons with the most severe and acute situations are treated first. You see, so, and this will continue to apply. Yeah. And similarly in the Princess Alice Hospital, where they do a shift system, right? It's a similar situation also.
Senators say the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, is the best avenue to strengthen our state of independence. Farmers' representative in the Senate, Dunstan Campbell, and Government Senator Katisha Williams gave a nod of approval to the CCJ at a consultation in St. John on Tuesday. The Caribbean Court of Justice Advisory Committee consultation train continues to move throughout Grenada as it pushes the need for more education on the subject. Senator Williams said Grenada needs to seriously consider making use of its financial contribution to the CCJ.
I do not think it is appropriate for us to still be sucking up to these people, to be begging them to adjudicate all matters when we have a perfectly fine alternative in the CCJ that is already paid, that is already staffed, that comprised of brilliant justices, that makes provision for access, for affordable justice to us, and we're not using it.
Both senators are convinced that acceding to the Caribbean Court of Justice will further sever ties with the United Kingdom and afford Grenada greater independence.
In terms of independence, there is no other court in judicial systems throughout the world that we can compare to the CCJ in terms of how the judges are selected, in terms of how they are paid, right? Access. We don't have to travel to Trinidad. I mean, you can, but you don't have to travel to Trinidad to be heard by the CCJ.
We are still tied to Britain. In fact, with the colonial string has not been severed, the umbilical cord has not been severed. The CCJ, moving to accept the CCJ, would move us away from what was called the mother country, and now making our Grenada more independent. So it provides a little more, it's an avenue towards this greater independence. One may argue that a country will never become independent per se, but it's a continuum. And along that continuum, the CCJ, accepting the CCJ, would bring us further down that continuum. So I say yes to the CCJ for sovereignty.
Grenadians will vote in a referendum on November 6th in support of the Caribbean Court of Justice bill. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then suddenly saw we hear bang, crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Continuing the news, the New Hampshire Preschool in Willis St. George welcomed the addition of a new wing to its facilities at a total cost of approximately $60,000 EC. The school now has an additional classroom, a kitchen and washroom facilities for staff. The wing was officially opened during a ceremony at the school grounds on Monday. Details from Annette Moore.
The staff and students had also been plagued by a termite-infested roof that has now been replaced. Additionally, students now receive hot meals from the new school kitchen instead of having to wait for meals to be brought up from the Constantine Methodist School.
Our children needed space and a much cleaner environment. But at my school, it was like a matchbox. We were all crammed together. Just imagine. Staff and pupils, we all use the same toilet. We then made a plea for help. Our dear Prime Minister heard that call and answered. Sir, to you I must say thank you, a special thank you, for your quick response and a job well done.
Construction began in June and took 2 months with a team of approximately 7. Community members, the principal, staff, parents, and students were joined by the Prime Minister, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, and Parliamentary Representative for St. George Northeast, Tobias Clement, for the opening.
I'm proud of the fact to have some say in what is taking place today, because I know what it is to want an education and cannot get it, and have to struggle to get it. So when it's coming to your doorstep, you can't afford to miss it. So I want to thank all of you. It's your initiative, you know. You all need the most credit. We did our part, but I also want to say that without you guys' initiative, we wouldn't be here today.
As a community, we felt good, and we were encouraged when we saw our very own young men and young women from right here in the village working hard, working tirelessly, working overtime to make sure that we have a top-class facility.
The scope of work is a 10 by 24 building. Classroom, a toilet and a kitchen. So we're quite happy to do it and continue to look forward for more work.
Right now the school is more spacious, it's more comfortable, and it's more conducive for learning.
Teachers are not sick as before because there were bats living in the roof and it was kind of hazardous for the health.
I want to say thanks to the contractors and the government for hiring me and also helping them children get food on time.
I know from all that was provided here, we will have a better outcome in learning.
I believe that we in New Hampshire here will go from strength to strength with your support.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
And that's the National Report. I am Leslie Ann Johnson.
And yeah, folks, Mr. B is up next. Mr. B, hair all nicely brushed, and apparently before coming in front of his camera this morning, he used Glass Plus on his glasses, so everything is just sparkling clean and ready to go. We'll get to Mr. B right after this.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this. Where you get that? At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food Fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at Food Fair.
Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Grenada Market has now introduced the Prime products to online shoppers in the UK via amazon.co.uk. Zebrapick, Nutmeg, Bourbon Day and Mobiback are now available, with more products being added gradually. These products are shipped across the UK and Europe free of charge for Amazon Prime members and backed by Amazon's reputable customer service. Avoid international shipping. Buy in your local area. Amazon.com in the USA, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazon.co.uk in UK and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
When I own my own business, I'll make my own rules.
Actually, all businesses have to follow rules.
But I heard that Grenlec changes rates whenever it wants.
Don't just listen to everything you hear. You should do your own research. When world fuel prices go up, you pay more. And when they go down, you pay less.
So what about the non-fuel rate?
Grenlec must apply to government before changing the non-fuel charge, and it has only increased by 3 cents over the last 22 years. How many things can you say that about?
You mean, when rates are high, it's not Grenlec making more money?
Now you're getting it. It's really the world fuel prices. Grenlec does not make any additional profit from higher fuel prices, and that's a fact. Think about it, son. There are laws and regulations that govern business. Nobody gets to do as they please. Not your business, and certainly not Grenlec.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Alrighty, folks, just before we say good morning to Alan, I see a note here on Facebook from Louise Nyack Francois. I imagine that she was responding to something in the national report, and she said here that do the same thing for River Sally Government School. The school building is totally unfit for learning. We are the forgotten village. So says Louise Nyack Francis. Good morning, Mr. Brzezinski, and how art thou?
Good morning, George. I'm fine. Sound level right?
Oh, yeah, we're hearing you, we're seeing you. Okay. I mean, I could tell.
Right. I have no idea what was in the national report, so if I start off saying anything, please let me know, and rather than go over the same ground, I'll divert into something else.
No, you don't have to comment on the national report. You really don't. I'm just waiting to hear what you've got up your sleeve.
Well, maybe I could ask you, did the national report include the development that was reported in the Canadian Globe News with regard to Sunwing Tours signing an agreement with the Rex chain of hotels, that is St. Lucia, Barbados, Tobago, Antigua, and Grenada.
Yeah.
With regard to, as of the 1st of December, that the Rex resorts will now be rebranded as Starfish Resorts.
Yeah.
So it is a collaboration between Sunwing Tours in Canada and the Rex resorts in various Caribbean islands. And both parties seem to be very excited about this. Because from Sunwing's point of view, it means that they will have guaranteed beds available for them. And the Rex group is very excited because it means that they should get a boost to their occupancy. And that in turn will allow them to continue their program of refurbishment and expansion of facilities and so forth, which, as you recall, was one of the accusations made against them by certain individuals who ought to know better. And I say ought to know better, ought to have known better, because when the attempt to expropriate the rights, the remaining rights under the lease agreement, first came before the High Court, it was an abysmal failure. And then they had the nerve to proceed to give notice of appeal. I don't know whether the appeal has gone forward. I believe the OECS Court of Appeal is sitting this week, perhaps, if not next. And in the context of this latest development, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't hear on the national report, why is this being kept such a secret? So only people in Canada know about it. It
Well,
seems to
hold
me.
on, not really,
Seems to
because I
me.
did publish it. I did publish it.
Well, good for you. But how come? Which national report are we talking about?
yeah.
So, and this was on the 2nd of October. That was Tuesday, and certainly one would have expected that the Minister of Tourism and the people in the Tourism Authority would have been over the moon about this very positive development. But have you heard anything from either the Minister or the Tourism Authority?
No.
Could it be that they are unaware? Or could it be that they're in such shock that the Rex has stolen a march on them that they don't know what to say? Or is it that their entire propaganda machinery is completely tied up with trying to issue clarification after clarification and justification for the accusations made in a public forum in New York, of all places, regarding the fact that it appears that even chicken and meat has joined the party because it just keep moving. As a matter of fact, somebody said to me, look, as chicken can't sit down up there. So what are they going to do? Well, we are heartened by the fact that the Honorable Minister has created a complete diversion by giving a detailed explanation of the developments that are going to take place. But here we are in October now of 2018, whereas I can remember a photograph of him leading a demonstration many years ago with a placard that says we need better health services.
Yeah.
But surely he has had enough time to deliver. I mean, you have people going into the hospital to deliver and they can't get beds. Yeah. So is in and out, unless they have a serious emergency, in which case is in and down. Anyhow, I would like to see whether or not the justification for the statements made overseas will be made public. The minister said that what we didn't know essentially was that reports have been made to the police and the police are investigating. I am concerned about the number of investigations taking place, because what is the outcome of these investigations?
You never ever find out.
Understand it.
You never ever find out the outcome of these investigations. Remember the steel band one from last year?
That one as you raise it, because one of the gentlemen who was part of the investigation, he said not to me personally, but in a public setting, that he had done what he was supposed to do. But yet, more recently, it was stated that they're waiting on him. So it appears that there's some contradiction between what he thought he was supposed to do and what they are now saying that he was supposed to do, which suggests that yet again, we have had a moving of the goalposts. Yeah. It's just like when you announce that there's going to be a public inquiry or an commission of inquiry, whatever inquiry, into whatever it is that may or may not have taken place at the Grenada Marketing and National Importing Board. But then before the inquiry can be set up, the people in the public integrity jump in and say, no, don't worry, that we're taking over. So the FIU wasn't called in, but public integrity decided they're going to have a little inquiry by themselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Now, what I would like to know is whether or not the Public Integrity Commission is independent and made up their minds on their own, because I'm not clear in the report of the commencement of the inquiry as to whether or not they acted in their own deliberate judgment, as the saying goes, or whether they were directed. No, we know, because the chairman has said so in writing, that in a small society, it is difficult to separate people from each other. I mean, we have family relationships, we have church relationships, we have marital relationships. So we must always be prepared to give the benefit of the doubt with regard to people's associations outside of the positions that they hold. So, for example, if people are members of a political party and they happen to sit on various state bodies that require independence, they must be given the benefit of the doubt, because we understand that there is every expectation that they will govern themselves accordingly and forget that they are party members. Now, we've seen how this works in the Soviet Union and now in Russia. We've seen how it works in North Korea. We've seen how it works in the People's Republic of China. We've seen it in Venezuela. We've seen it in Guyana. We can look at Suriname if you want to see how independent members of the party operate in positions of independence. Now, should I go on?
Go on. Go right ahead, sir. Go right ahead.
I am sorry that I don't read and understand Dutch, because there is so much available about the second man in Suriname. I can't pronounce his name. I can only pronounce Desi Bouterse's name, the president, who can't travel to many countries. What is known is that his son is in jail for drug smuggling. What is known is that if he set foot in Holland, that gone. And yet we are expected to sit down in CARICOM with this man, Bouterse, who is in charge of Suriname. And I can't complain about it because he has been elected. He won the elections. And Desi Bouterse, by all accounts, is a nasty piece of work. It is not surprising that when he and Maurice Bishop got together, that subsequently, whereas in Grenada we just lock up 3,014 people over a period of 4.5 years, a few of them lost their lives under strange circumstances, it is true. But in Suriname, Bouterse's government managed to execute, I think it was 17 or 18 members of the opposition and trade unionists and whatnot, who apparently were escaping from a prison, a maximum security prison. Whether it was in Paramaribo or on the outskirts, I'm not sure. But we're talking about middle-aged people with big bellies, and they managed to organize a great escape. I mean, even Steve McQueen didn't make the Great Escape successful. And yet, you know, the hard part about CARICOM is having to sit down with these kind of people. Anyway, so we now are being told that it is a matter of urgency that we vote a particular way on the 6th of November. A matter of urgency. Urgency for whom? So that if they get it, they will be able to go in Parliament where there is no opposition with a bill, from what I read in the newspaper, that commences, be it enacted by the Queen's most excellent majesty. And you tell me we're breaking the chains of colonialism? Man, look, tell the Speaker and the President of the Senate to throw away the wig before they come and tell me about colonialism. I'm done.
AB, profound, as always, sir, profound. I want to stick with this issue pertaining to the brouhaha over the past week about the health sector. Did you see the statement that was issued by your dear friend there, Nicholas?
Which one of them? I like Terry Forrester's statement, actually.
Yeah.
Terry Forrester's statement. Terry Forrester's statement was very strong, to the point.
Yeah. but the one that was written by Minister Nicholas Steele, you didn't see that one, did you?
I saw him reading a long statement about the developments in the health sector. I'm not certain that I heard him address the allegations directly, other than to say that reports had been made to the police in the past.
All right. Well, that's the point I'm getting at, because first of all, if you wish, you can go take a look at it. It's on the GrenadaBroadcast.com website. And yesterday morning at this time, I also read it on the air. Something that I found strange, both about his reaction and the reaction from the unions. This whole brouhaha started in New York because the Prime Minister, in a nutshell, referred to the doctors and nurses as thieves and incompetent, right? Isn't that how this whole thing started?
And more importantly, in response to a questioner, seemed to get up on a high horse and say, don't matter, you could put 100 doctors and nurses inside the same thing.
Okay.
100, mind you, 100.
Yeah. Well, that is one issue.
But having said that you could put 100, then the minister announces that he only bring in one. Yeah. That is Dr. McIntosh, who is going to be the hospital administrator. So from 100, we reach one already.
The new math. Come on. The point.
That is decimalization.
Oh, excuse me. See the things you learn from Mr. Baczynski. The point I'm trying to make here is that the unions came out and responded, and the minister responded, and the prime minister responded, and not one of them referred directly to the allegations that were made in New York about thieves and incompetence. They all skirted around the issue. Carefully selected wording, if you will. That kind of baffled me. Did you notice that, sir?
Well, as I said, I haven't looked at the details of the report, and I will do so. But what struck me that was while the right honorable gentleman was dispensing all of this vitriol in New York, both the Minister of Health and, if I saw correctly, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was sitting quietly nodding. Now, it seems to me that this was a public humiliation of the Minister of Health.
It was.
And frankly, he ought to do the right thing. That and a green jackass you wouldn't see.
I noticed you came to a screeching halt. You didn't go anywhere after you said the right thing. Now, I'm looking at a comment here on Facebook from Louise Nyack Francois. She says, I have watched the town hall video, and these key words ring home. Quote, poor management, unquote. How ironic. Management shared the stage, namely the PM and the Minister of Health. Therefore, the buck stops with them. The irony stretches further. They were showcasing their inability to manage a small hospital in a small society like ours. So, my question is this. What management strategies are in place to check and balance the running of the hospital? So says Louise.
Well, the minister made an immediate response to that, not having heard that comment, when he made this long presentation with regard to all of the developments that are in the pipeline for the hospital and the health service. And he was pleased to announce, because we didn't know about it before, that Dr. Carol McIntosh, a well-known prominent Grenadian, with a very lucrative practice abroad is coming to take over the administration of the hospital, and this is somebody we can't even pay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, having said that, your post that you were referring to suggested that the buck should stop there. Let me tell you something. I don't want to hear about no bucks stopping by them kind of fellas. Nah, no bucks for them.
No bucks for them. AB. I'm not sure we've heard the last of this. I just see an awful lot of irony. I hope they do sit down. Something else that came to my attention. The union said that they have requested a meeting with the minister to sit and discuss the situations in the hospitals, the situations in the hospital. Yet, the minister responded by saying that he is anxious, he's ready, he's waiting to talk with these people. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? The union said they sent a letter. They actually gave the date the letter was sent and all of that. And then along comes the minister and says, you know, well, listen, I'm ready to talk to these guys and arrive at some solutions. Who do you believe?
What is also interesting is that on a previous occasion, the Right Honorable Gentleman referred to the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health as the best permanent secretary, and this was in a public forum as well. So I am thinking now that he may find himself in a situation where once again he's going to have to say that nobody told him, and if he had known, he would have never said that.
Yeah. It goes on and on and on. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. B. It's nice to have you remain. Keep your tail put in one place for a little while. You're not traveling again.
Well, actually, the technology has been demonstrated to give us the ability to talk even when I am overseas.
Isn't that delightful, sir?
Though we're using the Zoom now, but I think when I was overseas, we actually used WhatsApp.
I don't remember which one, but I do remember this. I do remember speaking with you overseas. But we can use that, and we can even use Skype. You have Skype on your mobile?
I have Skype on the phone. Yeah.
Okay. You know, and that's something I intend to start doing in the very near future. Bringing other callers in the last half hour of this program. Use your smartphone instead of just phoning in and yada 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 yada. Let's see your face. A lot of people are hiding behind the privacy which radio gives to say a lot of stuff without even thinking. Airheads, I refer to them as. But we want to see you. If you have something to say, hey man, the world awaits. We want to hear, we want to see. But please, get ready. Thanks a lot, Mr. Bijinski. Any idea what direction you're going in next week? Oh, listen, hold on, before you answer that, one more thing I want to ask you about. Have you been following this thing about the Grenada Invitational and the investigation?
Sorry, say again?
Have you been following the issue?
Which investigation?
The Grenada Invitational.
Oh, right. Yes, apparently they put out some information suggesting that they have 6 months to pay people. And that has been refuted by the IAAF rules, spokespeople, committee, whatever, saying, no, you have 30 days to pay the participants. So somebody isn't telling the truth from the start. And then I don't know who is investigating anything about the Grenada Invitational because, as was well established, it's a private company.
Yeah. Yes. They are let.
So are you aware? Are you aware that anybody is investigating it?
No. Let there be no doubt about it. It's a private company.
But hold on. We made a big song and dance about the fact that the Grenada Invitational provided us with an opportunity to promote ourselves on the world stage. And I was very impressed to look at the coverage on ESPN and see Grenada on ESPN. I thought it was a wonderful period of exposure for us from the point of view of tourism.
Yeah.
And so that apparently is over unless there's some sort of other intervention.
Yeah.
Particularly since it appears that an arrangement was made for 3 years coverage with ESPN. I don't think we can afford to just let that go. So we need an intervention.
Yeah.
The intervention has to come from government, I would think. But then the other one that shocked me this week was the announcement that the Pure Grenada Music Festival,
cancelled,
likewise, is not going to take place next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that I find that hurtful from the point of view that I used to work for a company which was one of the supporters of the event in a small way. But I would have thought that once again, this type of activity is something that needs government support.
Yeah.
Look, instead of looking for money to spend to put 3 jetways in Point Saline, we should be spending the money on Pure Grenada Music Festival and the Grenada Invitational. Forget the 3 jetway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My tuppence halfpenny.
Thank you very much for it, sir, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you next week, Mr. Alan Bashinsky. Thank you very much, sir.
And there's no way of knowing what will develop between now and next week for me to comment on. This place is exciting.
I'm sure there will be a lot, sir, and you're not going to miss out on one bit. Take it easy, Amy. All right.
Okay, bye.
Okie doke. There goes Alan, my dear friend. And right now, we're going to take another little break here, and we'll come on back and wrap it up.
Hi, I'm Gloria. My family and I travel all around the world, lighting up homes and businesses just like yours. And lately, we've been hearing a lot of talk about electricity.
Yes. Are my rates the highest in the world?
Your rate is definitely not the highest. Grenadians are paying a similar rate to some islands in the Caribbean, and in some cases, even less.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank. And there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Conveniently located in the Grenada Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Grenada Market has now introduced the Prime products to online shoppers in the UK via amazon.co.uk. Zeberpick, Nutmeg, Bourbonday and Mobiback are now available, with more products being added gradually. These products are shipped across the UK and Europe free of charge for Amazon Prime members and backed by Amazon's reputable customer service. Avoid international shipping. Buy in your local area. Amazon.com in the USA, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazon.co.uk in UK and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, just about time to pull the curtain down. We have now completed our full hour here on today's edition of Gudday, Grenada. Parting word for you, little thought that I'd like you to take along with you as you go through your chores today. God loves you. He does. Sometimes it appears that he's just not hearing. He's deaf. His hearing aids aren't working. Nah. He hears. And he will answer. But you do need to do two things. Be faithful and be patient. Tell you what, you have a wonderful day, and by his grace, we'll see you tomorrow morning at the same time.